Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear, where I've been featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. And today I'm up to song number 2676, and that one is Little Honda by the Hondells. And I'll get into the Hondells in a minute. But first I want to talk a little bit about the song. It was written by Brian Wilson and Mike Love of the Beach Boys. I might as well show their picture. Here's the Beach Boys. They were the ones who. So Mike Wilson, like Mike, Brian Wilson, Mike Love wrote the song. There were two members of this group, and the Beach Boys actually had the original recording of this song in 1964. Their version, I don't think, was a hit, but it was released on this album of theirs called All Summer Long. And I used to own this album. I mean, my uncle, actually, the Beach Boys were one of the first rock bands I was ever exposed to because my uncle was a big fan of the Beach Boys. He was sort of an early baby boomer. He was born in 1945. He liked a lot of early rock and roll. It's kind of funny. He loved Buddy Holly too. I think his two big favorite rock and roll acts were Buddy Holly and the Beach Boys. He also liked Elvis. He liked a lot of 50s and early 60s stuff. He wasn't as big on the mid to late 60s. He wasn't into psychedelia. He liked the Beatles and Bob Dylan, but that was all about all he liked about the mid to late 60s music. But he did really love the Beach Boys, and he bought my sister and me probably about a dozen Beach Boys albums when we were kids. This was back in the early 70s when I was only about 10 years old. So this is just one of the albums he bought for us. And it has a lot of other excellent songs on it, too. Beach Boys are a really great band. And, they were the biggest California surf rock band. I'm sure you guys all know that. There were a lot of other California surf rock bands who I think sort of mostly just copied them and even did covers of a lot of their songs. And I guess the Hondells was one of them. Anyway, enough of about the Beach Boys. Let me go back to the song "Little Honda" by the Hondells. Not too much to say about the song. I mean, the surf sound. It wasn't just songs about surfing. It was songs about motorbike riding, basically the California lifestyle. It wasn't just surfing. I mean, motorbikes were really popular as well. I think in the late 50s and early to mid 60s, and you can see them all on these Honda motorbikes. I've never owned a motorbike myself. I did go on a moped. I drove a moped. The only time I've ever driven any kind of motorbike in my life. This was about sometime in the mid 80s. I don't remember the exact year. It was when I was in my 20s. I went with my family. We went around, Massachusetts, and we went to Martha's Vineyard, which is a really beautiful island, in Cape Cod, I guess, and I rented. I think my sister and I both rented mopeds, and we biked around the island for about an hour or two, and it was great. I mean, there is a big thrill about being on a motorbike. Maybe I should do it again. But motorcycles, which are the full-fledged ones, those can be very, very dangerous, unfortunately. If you're in an accident, you're pretty much dead on one. Also, motorcycles are kind of associated with a lot of kind of shady characters like Hell's Angels and stuff like that. So I'm not really into big motorcycles or anything, even though I've had a few friends who've owned them, and I heard they're a big thrill, even though they are very dangerous. I guess a lot of the most exciting things in life are pretty dangerous. Sometimes you have to kind of live on the edge, but I think I'd rather live on the edge in other ways than riding a motorcycle on the freeway. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But anyway, I do like this song, Little Honda. And it's one of the shortest songs on my list. I don't know how long the Hondells version is. I think it's a little bit longer, maybe a few seconds longer than the Beach Boys version. The Beach Boys version I know is only a minute 30 seconds. So very short song. And I think a minute 30 is the shortest song on my list. I think I just featured it a few songs ago, actually. That was Do Whack a Do by Roger Miller. Anyway, but the Hondells, a little Honda by the Hondells is a close, um, a close contender to that. Anyway, that's about all I can say about this song. It's a cheerful sounding song too. That's one thing I really liked about the Beach Boys and a lot of the California surf sound. It was very positive. I mean, everybody loved California. There was a big love affair with California among young people, as I'm sure most of you guys know, during the 1960s. It's kind of a carefree lifestyle, especially Southern California. I guess Northern California was popular for a different reason. That was kind of where all the hippies got started in the Haight-Ashbury district in San Francisco. So that was more the scene of the kind of counterculture movement of the late 60s. But California was kind of a mecca for young people, and I guess the surf scene was just part of that. And anyway, I guess that's all I have to say. It was released on this album called Go Little Honda. Oh, yeah, the other thing I have to do, I haven't done this yet. Here's a picture of the Hondells. It kind of looks like the Beach Boys a little bit. They're wearing their preppy red sweaters. But anyway, yeah, the Hondells didn't have a lot of hits, and I don't think they wrote any of their own music. They only had three Hot 100 hits, just one top 40, which the first hit in 1964, Little Honda, that went to number 9. That was their biggest hit and probably the only one of theirs that people know. Later that year, they had My Buddy Seat, which went to number 87. I don't know that song. And then in 1966, they had a cover of another really excellent song called Younger Girl. I've never heard their version, but Younger Girl was written by John Sebastian of the Lovin' Spoonful, I believe in 1965. And I don't know if the Lovin' Spoonful had a hit with it. They probably did. But the biggest hit version of Younger Girl was by kind of an obscure band called I think it was the Critters. They just had a couple hits. Their other hit was Mr. Dyingly Sad. I think Younger Girl made my list, but Mr. Dyingly Sad didn't. Anyway, enough of that. So that completes my profile on Little Honda by the Hondells. So thank you for watching. You guys rock. Try to stay safe if you have a motorbike, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.